DL Hughley reposted a video from the Shade Room which shows the Little League team stuffing their black teammates' hair with cotton. Hughley's caption read, "Bruh, you have got to be kidding me. First of all, if you try and rationalize this in any way, shape, or form, you are a part of the problem. This is exactly why critical race theory should be taught." In addition to the video, Hughley would also show several tweets from users who also didn't approve of the Little League's action. Comedian Amanda Seales would add to the comment identifying what critical race theory actually is and why it should be taught in schools. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts Capone and Pierre calling into the show, along with very special guests Andy McKnight to share their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
That's just Little Leaguers being Little Leaguers right there. Hey, next week's Sunday night baseball matchup should be a good one. Atlanta and St. Louis. Cardinals leading the Central. They finish up that three-game series at Busch, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, ESPN, Deportes, and Radio. And we'll start with...
Pierre, I'll kick things right off with you. What was your reaction when you first saw this clip?
Well, I was stunned at first, just to see that, But then again, I have to have a little more background information. Is he the only black kid on the whole team? What's the reason they do that for? Why do they put cotton in people's hair? Is it just black kids they only put cotton in? Do they put it in other kids' hairs? Is he the only black kid? I don't necessarily see kids that age being full-on racist. Is it a bad look, a bad thing to do? Of course it is. They should not do that regardless. But do I sit there and say, oh, them kids saw a black boy and say, yeah, you a nigger. We're going to do this to you, nigger. I don't believe that they play with the boy, so I don't really believe that to be true. But like I said, is it a bad look? Sure. I mean, should they not do it? Sure. But now it's who is responsible for making sure they don't do it again. Do that. That's not a thing to do. So the adults around there should be ashamed of themselves for not stopping that and saying, that's not a good look. Whatever, if this is the first time it was a normal thing to do, it shouldn't be. If it's a normal thing to do, then shame on them, for doing that to a little black kid.
Absolutely. Capone, I'll bring that same question to you. What was your reaction when you first saw this clip?
I got angry. Of course, I think that it's very clear the message they were sending. Racism is taught at a very young age, and why pick cotton? Out of all the material you could have picked, you could have threw for confetti. Why cotton? And to put it on their head and for the people to record it the way they record it, it was a message being sent. The racism is there, and they show any type of way that they can to discriminate us and show that they have some type of power. And even at a Little League baseball game, the way he said Little Leaguers being Little Leaguers kind of set me off.
Yeah, I had to listen to it a couple times, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. Andy, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. I want to dive right into it with you. What was your reaction when you first saw this clip?
When I saw it, I was upset. I got pissed. I'm like, isn't it enough already? And they know what that does to us. So why would you even bring something like that up? Who thought that would be a good thing to just put a whole bunch of cotton in this young boy's hair? It doesn't make sense. It's senseless. Because they didn't say anything that collaborated or went along with the cotton. What was the cotton purpose for?
Right. Yeah, and I think a lot of people has the same question. A lot of people have questions about it. But I do want to name some reactions that did. Now, as I mentioned earlier, D.L. Hughley did repost this, and Amanda Seales actually commented on this, and this is what she had to say. Critical race theorem is not synonymous with teaching about racism in school. This was a right-wing lie made up to scare the already weak-minded constituency. CRT is a college-level course that theorizes accurately that the law in the country is inherently racist because of the racist context within which this country was created. That said, yes, we absolutely need to teach our age kids accurate American history, anti-racism, and lift up the stories and contributions of Black Americans year-round in classrooms and everywhere children are. Now, we also had Leslie Jones, who would comment, and this is what she had to say, made a post actually and said, okay, who the F gonna explain this BS? I'm so tired of people saying they're not racist and sit back and let racists happen. Anyone who comes in these comments and rationalize this, I will rip your effing heart out. So don't F with me. Where are your parents? Look at the boy's face. Pierre, I'll come back to you. DL, when he did post this, talks about the importance of having, critical race theory in school. And of course, you have Amanda Seals talking about exactly what it is. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with D.L. Hughley that critical race theory is needed in schools?
Not only in schools, but I mean, what school? At every level, even at the level of them kids right there. Regardless if it was playful for fun, it's still not a good look. It's not something to do. Even if it was done innocently by those kids, let's say they was. We don't know those kids. We can sit there and say, oh, they're racist kids. We can say we want to all day long, but we don't really know. But even if they're not racist children, they still should be taught. Some adult around them should have said, no, sir, that's not a look. That's not what we're going to do here. I blame the older people for, around them, who, because they're around coaches and parents. And yes, I hear the mother accepted it, says, okay, it wasn't done well. But, Black folks, we've been through so much so long that, every little thing will, can spark something. And rightfully so, because we're tired of it. We're tired of people doing that and then making excuses saying it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. If it's okay with me, it's okay. No, it might be okay with the mother, but it ain't okay with the rest of the people, who have to see that and deal with that. She may have an easier way to handle that, but most people don't have the easy way to handle it. So it's not a good look and it shouldn't have been done. And adults should have stopped it.
Absolutely, and I'm wondering what those producers were doing in the back with the control board. But Capone, let me bring that same question to you. D.L. Hughley as well as Amanda Seals talks about the importance of having critical race theory in schools. Do you agree with them?
I think it needs to start at home. Kids are being taught how to be racist at home.
Right.
And I think that Black children and people of color, period, need to know the signs of when it's, they're being attacked. This is certain things. You got these friends and all of these, you see it all the time on the net where they're younger. Teach your kids at home. Don't depend on the school to do everything, because that's not what the school is all about and it's never been about. So when you have the ability to talk to your kids, tell them about what racism is, don't be afraid. And I think that that's the starting point of being prepared to move forward in life.
Absolutely. Annie, I want to bring that same question to you. Do you agree with D.L. Hughley that critical race theory is important to have in school?
Oh, most definitely. That's what the problem is now. We have too many people allowing bullshit to just play out whatever it wants to play out. And we need to stop that. And now it's the time to stop it. It should have been stopped. So I don't think we need to perpetuate it any longer.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask a couple questions because there are just so many layers, and there's so much that y'all said, including Pierre. I know you mentioned actually what the parents actually being okay with it. I want to read that from the Huff Post. But one question that did come up is, it appears, like you said, Pierre, we aren't aware of, are there other Black kids on the team? But just from the video itself, there's a Black kid surrounded by white children. So it brings the question of, we talk about education, what white people need, but when you have Black kids that are surrounded predominantly by, white kids or just white people, does there need to be a different teaching there? Capone kind of talks about, Black people needing to understand and Black kids needing to understand of, hey, I'm being treated wrong. This does not feel good. So, Pierre, I'll come to you. When we're dealing with Black kids that may be, predominantly surrounded by a white community or even a white family, should there be some type of teaching that's different for them so that they know when they're being treated wrong?
I think they should teach the white kids not to be racist. How about that? Or to be that way, as opposed to teaching the kid. Sure, as a parent, you might want to teach your child, if you have a Black child, how to handle themselves around white people. But I think it's more white people's job to stop acting like the fucking assholes that they are, by being racist and stuff. So I think the white people should be taught better, not necessarily Black people how to accept it necessarily all the time. But I think in this case, definitely, it was just a bad look. Like you said something. Why did the cameraman show that? It wasn't necessary. The cameraman old enough. He ain't 12 years old, to show that. It wasn't necessary. And it could be a game and it could be innocent. But they have to understand, especially if you're a white cameraman, you don't know the pain we feel when we see that.
Now, Annie, I know I kind of heard you commenting a little bit. Before I move on, is there anything that you wanted to add to that? When we're looking at this situation.
Well, I totally agree with Pierre. I grew up through segregation when they started sending us over to the white schools, busting out and everything, and all the stuff that we had to endure. I had my mouth washed out with soap. crazy ass white woman just all up in my mouth, my damn mouth. We curse on this show. You know, I'm a little pissed about this. And, you know, it doesn't make sense. They do this intentionally. It's not like they don't know the history. They are aware of the history because they made the history. Cut the shit out. Why our little black kids got to go through that? And the mother, tell them, hell no, you didn't appreciate it because it was wrong. They try to make a mockery out of your son. He didn't deserve that. What cotton got to do with anything with a game? Was it a cotton bowl? Were they making cotton vest or something for the team? Right. A little cotton scarf? Hell no. Why is cotton there? It's totally racist. And white people, like Pierre said, white people need to get their shit together and stop acting like they don't understand what's going on. They know what's going on. You can tell how they talk to you, the certain things they do. The other day, I'm in my car, a old ass white man come hit up against my car. He just looked at me. No apology, no nothing. Because that's how they feel.
Absolutely. Now, Capone, I want you to chime in on this, but I want to add another layer because I know, it's been mentioned a couple times about what the mother does think. So HuffPost put out an article that says, as one player appeared on the broadcast, Little League International understands that actions could be perceived as racially insensitive. The league statement continues, said, we have spoken with the player's mother and the coaches who have assured us that there was no ill intent behind the action shown during the broadcast. Capone, I want to come to you if there's anything that you want to add to, in addition to, what Pierre and Andy said, but also what are your thoughts, to hearing from, the mother and the coaches that they feel that there was no ill intent behind the broadcast?
Well, how can a mother say that there was no ill intent? Number one, I hate to sound sexist, but if it was a father and he spoke up a little bit more, I just feel like the mother is being in a position to where she just has to say whatever they think should be said at the time. It just angers me that throughout all of these years that we still do not understand the mission of these white people feeling that they are superior over us. Regardless of what age, they're taught that they're better than us. They're taught that we're nothing. And, this goes on and on and on and on, and they're going to keep teaching. But there got to come a time that we have to step up. And I know as a mother and a father, we protect our children, but we have to learn about community. This ain't just a one-on-one thing. This is about teaching the community how to protect one another. That's where they got us at. No matter where you go, racist white people stick together, regardless of what. And so, unless we learn as a community how to defend ourselves and stand up for what we truly believe in, we're going to always fall victim to the bullshit and the facade that they put over our eyes. Oh, I didn't know. We had no ill intentions.
Right. Come on, let me ask you this. If you are in that situation, because I know you're saying the mom, and I agree, I think, you can be put in a position where you just may not know how to respond. If this was your child, Capone, what would be your response to the situation?
I would break hell if I saw my child getting cotton putting on. From the people who filmed it, from the little leaguers that put it on there, and from the people that allow it. That's the difference that I think, it keep on pressing that the mother, we got to be, as fathers, we have to stand up. Some man should have stood up for that and avoided it from happening.
Absolutely. Pierre, I'll bring that same question to you. What's your reaction to, hearing from the mother and the coaches saying that, there was no ill intent behind this broadcast?
Well, we're getting on the mother. Where's the father? Where's the father? Is he not around? Does he not go to the games? Does he not support his sons playing the game? So the mother had to speak out. It's only the mother. She's probably the only one. I hope she ain't married to a man who's too weak to speak up. But I understand, we're not in that. We're on the outside looking in. She might have those kids come over her house and play with her sons, spend the night, all those white kids, his mother, and she doesn't see a racist situation amongst them. And then when that happened, and maybe it wasn't, racist to them at the time. She knows those kids. Maybe it is some games they play. Maybe she's seen them do it to other kids. Maybe they put it in white kids. We don't know that. We're just speculating from what we saw at the end. I'm one of the kind of people that like to know what's happening through the whole situation, so I can make a full opinion. I don't just jump when I see a picture of something. I need to know what's behind it, regardless of what it is. And so with her saying what she said, if she believes it wasn't racist, maybe it wasn't to her. Maybe she's seen those kids and not in a racist way. Maybe the kids ain't racist. Maybe those kids have done so many things with her son that wasn't what she figured was racist. They just did that. So I'm not mad at the mama. The mama said what she felt. Now, again, we as people on the outside who aren't in it don't like the way it looked. So we ain't gonna speak on what we seen. Now, damn, if she can take it, we might not be able to take it. We can't take the look. From the look we saw in the video we saw, we don't like it. Regardless of what she did, but we don't like it. And we're speaking because we don't like it. But for her to speak her truth, that's her truth. I'm not gonna get her behind about her truth. But my truth is I didn't like what I saw on the outside outside looking out.
And let me bring you into this. What was your reaction when you heard from, and of course, this is just an article from HuffPost saying that they, spoke to the mother and the coaches. What was your reaction hearing from?
Well, first of all, the mother might have went along with it, similar to what Pierre was saying, where's the dad? And then along with that, often women, we are soothers. We soothe the ruffles out. We'll be like, no, we'll try to think differently because majority of the men, they're hot-headed and they go for what they want to say and do. That's a man. But most of the women, we try to be peacemakers. And I think that's what the mother was doing. If her son got to continue going to school there, she probably don't want the backlash of, he act like we was being racist. We wasn't being racist. We were just playing around. Hell no, that ain't playing around because they know the intent of cotton. What cotton had, what they used to do to our hair. They used to stuff chairs with our hair. Yeah. Chairs, the cushioning of the chairs had black people hair in it. So no, don't play with our hair. Don't play with the cotton. Those two things are right there together. And why cotton?
So let me ask you this question because, of course, reading comments, a lot of people on the internet are kind of talking about this. What do you say to the people that feel like black people are oversensitive, where they feel like, oh, now we're trying to find reasons to be upset or to point out racism? What do you say to those people?
If we're trying to find a reason to point out racism, why are they coming at us with racist stuff? Why are they coming at us with this connotation of the cotton? They know what cotton symbolizes. How can you say that we're being, we're just jumping the gun? No. We are sick and tired of the foolishness of white people. Simple as that. White folks, I'm gonna tell you right now, just cut the shit. I mean, you already know what has happened. You above. You got the above. You got the above us already, and you've had it for years. Give us a fucking break. And I really mean that because that's what the problem is. It's just too much. It's just too much. I really feel that way.
Capone, let me bring you in on that. What do you say to the people? What do you say to the people that feel like we're oversensitive and that when we see things like this and we're out, there's a large outrage and people are upset that we're overreacting or we're finding reasons. What do you say to people that say that?
Symphony, let me put this in a real broader perspective. Green Bay, the whole stadium has cheese on their head. You never heard any complaints, rats, you never heard mice, you never heard anything about that. Here you got one little boy that got cotton that's bringing up because we know, and we're tired of them covering up. There's a whole stadium when the Green Bay Packers play where guys putting a cheese hat on their head or women cheese. It symbolizes nothing. This is making us angry because we know what it symbolizes. And there's no trying to sugarcoat it. I'm tired of sugarcoating it. They need to know and take responsibility for what they keep trying to throw in our face. And we need to keep addressing it while they doing it. Bottom line for me.
That part.
Plain and simple. Pierre,
Yeah.
I'll bring that same question to you, Pierre. What do you say to people who say, black people are being oversensitive? We're just finding reasons and finding ways to be offended by racism. What are your thoughts, Pierre?
No, we're just giving voice to the silence we've given for so long. That's all it is. You get to a point where you get tired. You get tired of looking at it as being a second-class citizen. If you stay silent about it, then it'll continue, And so people just feel like, white folks know what they're doing. They invented the shit, okay? They invented the racism, the jokes, and all that stuff way back in the day. So they know what they're doing, Now, again, I'm not gonna put it all on these young boys. I'm not gonna do it. People comment can say these 12-year-old, 8-year-old, they know what they're doing. That's fine if you want to say that. The parents, people, they're more in touch in their workplace and in their history, being 40, 50 years old. You've seen it in books and magazines enough. These young kids probably don't really get into it, so I don't, whatever. But I think as far as speaking up on it, it's never too late. Constantly speak on it until hopefully one day, it'll cease, way better than it has been ceasing. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't speak up, it'll continue. So I have no problem. Continue to speak up on it. I'll continue to speak on it. That Comedy Hype is continue to speak on it. But it needs to be spoken. But we're tired. But what do? Do we give up for the next generation under us? Do we stop talking? Because the next kids, our kids are coming up. They need to have the strength to see that we had strength to speak up. You know what I'm saying? And so that they'll keep, the strength. And hopefully, it'll change. It'll dissipate.
Absolutely. I think you all make valid points there. I think, as this continues, I'm pretty sure we'll see more information unfold. So we'll be sure to stay updated on that. But I appreciate you all for chiming in on this one. I know it's a touchy topic, but I appreciate everybody giving great points. Before we head out, I'd like to know what you have coming up and how can people follow you. So I'm going to start with our very special guest, Annie McKnight. What have you been up to and how can people follow you?
Oh, y'all follow me like the police because I'm black. On Instagram, Facebook, and that funky bird Twitter. I've been doing my thing. I recently was in the national commercial with who starred Kevin Hart and a lot of actors about the Sirius XM going into the house. And yes. I was opening on that. And then I also did a great thing with my boy Chris Redd from Saturday Night Live. I just recently did that in Bust Down, a new show written by Lauren Michaels. Awesome. Why should I say produced? Yeah.
Yeah, well, congratulations on
Thank
everything.
You.
And we're great to have you here in the studio.
Good to be here. I love your show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully we can get Capone and Pierre back in the studio, but Capone, what do you I'll throw it to you, Capone. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Well, my Wednesdays is the Apollo. I'm still the host of Amateur Night. And after that, I fly out to Milwaukee Improv. As you know, I was a little ill and cut a couple of shows out last week. But I'm back, feeling great, healthy, and just keeping it moving, keeping that diet going.
Yes, and I love it. I'll be sure to stay on top of you. So I appreciate you doing the work. Pierre, I'll kick it over to you. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
First of all, let me give a shout out to my girl, Annie McKnight. Good to see you. Me and her go back, way back. We did a movie, one of my movies called For the Love of Money. She was very funny, played a Jehovah's Witness in that. She's one that, sometimes under the radar, but y'all got to listen to her because she's doing her thing. She's always working. She's been putting it in. I think she won America's Funniest Person one time. Wasn't it something like that?
$10,000 winner of America's Funniest People. And I also won the Gong Show.
Okay, yeah. So thanks. So good seeing her. Capone, thank you for. I'm glad to see you back, brother, from the situation you were in. That was serious. And I have in Raleigh, North Carolina, this Saturday. Me, Chris Thomas, Michael Collier, Donis John, a whole bunch of Shucky Ducky. We're doing a show at the theater, the Duke Energy Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, this Saturday, the 27th. Holla at your boy. And then I'll be in Atlanta, and I think I might come in the studio so y'all can see me pretty live. You know what I'm saying? Next week. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to meet you there.
All right, there you go. So Symphony will get a wish.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. But again, thank you so much, Andy, for joining us today. We definitely are great to have you. So thank you. Thank you so much. And again, thank you all for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on D.L. Hughley sounding off on the Little League and this incident with putting cotton in the little black boy's hair? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in the comments.
What's up, Comedy Hype family? Like the t-shirt from this episode? Be sure to head over to comedyhype.com/shop to get yours today. I'm fresh.